In a faraway kingdom, nestled deep within the dark ancient woods, there lay a small forgotten village called Hollow's End. The village was surrounded by towering trees that whispered secrets and shadows that seemed to move on their own. The villagers were a superstitious lot, rarely venturing into the forest, especially after sunset, for it was said that the woods were haunted by a creature of unspeakable terror. The tale begins with a young girl named Amelia who lived with her grandmother in a quaint thatched cottage at the edge of the village. Amelia was curious and brave, traits that often got her into trouble. Her grandmother, a wise old woman with eyes that had seen too much, warned her repeatedly about the dangers lurking in the forest. But Amelia, with her fiery spirit, was not easily deterred. One crisp autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows, Amelia's curiosity got the better of her. She had heard rumors of an old abandoned castle deep within the forest, a place where no one dared to go. The villagers whispered that it was cursed, home to a monster that feasted on the souls of the living. Determined to uncover the truth, Amelia set off into the woods, ignoring the ominous creaking of the trees and the cold wind that seemed to carry whispers of warning. As she ventured deeper, the forest grew darker and more foreboding. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and strange, unsettling sounds echoed through the trees. Amelia's heart pounded in her chest, but she pressed on, driven by an inexplicable urge to uncover the secrets of the castle. After what felt like hours of wandering through the labyrinthine woods, Amelia stumbled upon a clearing. There, bathed in the ghostly light of the moon, stood the castle. Its towering spires reached towards the sky like skeletal fingers, and its once grand walls were now crumbling and covered in ivy. The air around it was deathly still, as if the castle itself were holding its breath. Amelia approached cautiously, her footsteps echoing in the silence. She pushed open the massive creaking doors and stepped inside. The interior was even more eerie than the outside. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling like ghostly drapes, and the air was thick with the scent of dust and mildew. She could hear the faint sound of something dripping in the distance, a slow, rhythmic sound that sent shivers down her spine. As she explored the castle, Amelia came upon a grand hall with a massive, ornate mirror hanging on one wall. The mirror was cracked and tarnished, but something about it drew her closer. As she gazed into its depths, she saw not her reflection, but a shadowy figure lurking behind her. She spun around, but there was nothing there. Heart racing, she turned back to the mirror, only to find the figure had moved closer, its eyes glowing with a sinister light. Terrified, Amelia tried to flee, but her feet felt like they were rooted to the spot. The figure in the mirror reached out with a skeletal hand, and as it touched the surface, the mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces. Amelia screamed as the room plunged into darkness. When she awoke, she found herself lying on a cold stone floor. The grand hall was gone, replaced by a small, dimly lit chamber. Chains hung from the walls, and the air was filled with a low, ominous hum. In the center of the room stood a tall, cloaked figure, its face hidden in shadow. "Welcome, Amelia," the figure intoned in a voice that echoed through the chamber. "I've been expecting you." Who are you?" Amelia stammered, trying to keep her voice steady. "I am the keeper of the shadows," the figure replied. "And you, my dear, have entered my domain." Amelia felt a cold hand close around her heart. The keeper's eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and as it stepped closer, she could see that beneath its cloak there was nothing but darkness. "You have a choice," the keeper continued. "You may leave this place, but in return you must bring me another soul. Or you can stay here and become part of my collection." Amelia's mind raced. She couldn't condemn another innocent person to this fate, but the thought of spending eternity in this dreadful place was unbearable. Desperate, she tried to think of a way out. Suddenly, she remembered her grandmother's stories about the power of light. With trembling hands, she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small silver locket. Inside was a picture of her parents and a tiny shard of mirror. She had always carried it with her, a reminder of her family's love and strength. Amelia opened the locket and angled the shard of mirror towards the keeper. The tiny fragment caught the dim light and reflected it, casting a brilliant beam directly at the shadowy figure. The keeper recoiled, letting out a terrible, inhuman shriek. "What have you done?" it screamed. The light grew brighter and brighter, filling the chamber with a radiant glow. The shadows writhed and twisted, and the keeper's form began to dissolve. Amelia felt a surge of hope and strength. She focused all her will on the shard, pushing the light towards the keeper until, with one final agonized cry, it vanished into thin air. The chamber around her began to crumble and Amelia ran, dodging falling debris and navigating the dark, twisting corridors. She burst through the castle doors just as the first light of dawn began to creep over the horizon. Panting and exhausted, she made her way back through the forest, the sinister atmosphere lifting with each step. When she finally emerged from the woods, the village of Hollow's End was bathed in golden sunlight. The villagers, shocked and amazed by her return, gathered around as she told her tale. Her bravery and quick thinking had not only saved her, but had also lifted the curse that had hung over the forest for centuries. Amelia became a hero in Hollow's End, her story told and retold for generations. The dark forest was no longer a place of fear, but of wonder and mystery, and the old castle, once a symbol of terror, became a place of curiosity and exploration, a reminder of the power of courage and light in the face of darkness. And so, the tale of Amelia and the Keeper of the Shadows became a part of the village's lore, a story of hope and bravery that would never be forgotten.